The Z Fold 4 has been out for half a year now, which is crazy. So, great phone. I've absolutely loved it ever since I got this thing. And I did something a little bit different whenever it came to this phone because I've used the Fold phones. Like I've had the Fold 1, Fold 2, Fold 3, Fold 4. And what really made me want to commit to this one even more, of course, was the increased battery life. Now, the battery life that's been really impressive has been on my S23 Ultra. And that has me excited looking towards the future when we talk about the Z Fold 5. But the Z Fold 4, of course, I mean, this is, I feel like an Apple event right now saying it's the best fold ever made by Samsung. And truly it is. They've made some refinements. I wasn't super excited from the get-go because I didn't think that the Z Fold 4 was a necessary upgrade over the Z Fold 3. Case in point, you're talking about year-over-year $1,799 phones. There's really not enough here if you're a Z Fold 3 guy or gal to go, okay, let me go ahead and grab that. Basically, they just upgraded the processor, which, I mean, there is some noticeable difference there whenever it comes to battery life. It did help, gave me about an extra hour, hour and a half, but the camera is also better too because they've got the S22 series primary camera set up in here. It's pretty good. Now, is it as good as an S22 Ultra? No, it's not. Is it as good as an S23 Ultra? Definitely it's not. Neither one of those, because when you look at those phones, and I've got both of them right here, because I couldn't bear to trade in my S22 Ultra for $500, because that wasn't going to happen. But both of these phones, S22 Ultra, S23 Ultra, really built around having like the premier camera experience. And also they don't have to worry about basically having the phone cut in half with, half of the information on one side parts and half on the other. So it gives them a little bit more room to put in some larger camera apparatus stuff. So if you're looking from a pure camera enthusiast perspective, the Z Fold 4 is probably not what you're looking for. Although it does take very, very good photos, and I took quite a bit of them. So when I first got this phone, I got it basically like a day or two before I left to go to IFA in Berlin this last fall. So while I was out there, I took a lot of pictures. I took pictures in Morocco. I took pictures outside of Frankfurt, and I took pictures in Berlin. I took a lot of photos with it, and it really did impress me quite a bit. So no slouch in the camera department by any stretch of the imagination, but at $17.99, I'd really like them to get the same camera that the Ultra series has because, I mean, hey, if you're paying almost $2,000 for a phone, they should find some way to stick it in there, right? Give us the ultimate camera experience. So I've had the same case on here. I want to talk about some of this stuff because there's two things that people always complain about with these phones. One is durability, two is accessories, and I'm still using the Samsung case. It has the S Pen attachment. So this is actually a little partition that pops off on the back. The other part is on the inside of my house. It's not here with me right now, but it actually functions as a stand that pops out. So this case, I think, is probably the best case I've ever had for any of the Fold phones. I like it a lot. I wish it were aramid fiber. That would be pretty cool. But the Samsung official case that they have has grown on me. I like it a lot, and I haven't felt the need to change it. So I like this case. It gets a strong endorsement from me, and I like having the S Pen on the back. And I had concerns about this. So whenever we got the rumors for the Z Fold 4, a lot of folks thought, okay, well, we're going to have an internal bay for the S Pen. It's going to be like the S22 and S23 Ultra, where you've got the little silo, you've got your internal S Pen, and it has expanded functionality and like the air gestures and all that crazy stuff. And we didn't get that. And also we didn't get the S Pen compatibility with the front screen, which I really hope they put with the Z Fold 5. I kind of can go both ways when it comes to the S Pen experience on the inside of the phone and also on the outside. Let me show you something. I feel like a flashback to In Living Color with Jim Carrey and Fire Marshal Bill. Let me show you something. Anyway, so this is the S Pen for the S23 Ultra. Basically the same as the S22 Ultra. And then this is the S Pen for the Fold. Now, on a day-to-day basis, as I'm using this with the phone, like I don't have the biggest hands in the world. So when I'm using this, even, it still feels way too small and cramped. So when I'm trying to do stuff on the screen, I feel like I'm just holding this oversized toothpick trying to write on the screen. I don't really enjoy it. I'm not, honestly, a big fan of the S Pen with the Ultra. I always just like the Ultra series or the Note series phones. Then, interstage left, we have this big, normal size, like pencil size stylus, and then you use it on the larger landscape. I like this a lot. I use it every single day. because I make all my thumbnails for my phone videos on here. And this is like an integrated part of my day. It's so much so, it's basically completely replaced my tablet usage. And I made a video about this last year saying that the Z Fold 4 is the best tablet of 2022. And I stick by that because, one, it's everywhere with you. Like, you always have this bigger landscape, like tapestry you can use, basically like having a portable tablet. I mean, it's almost the size of an iPad mini for Pete's sake whenever you open it up. So I like that because, one, the iPad mini is my favorite iPad. I really wish one day they'd make an iPad mini Pro. I would line up outside of Best Buy to get that because I don't like big tablets. I have right here, this is my favorite tablet, the Tab S8, the like pure form true tablet experience. I got the 11-inch model. I didn't buy the S8 Plus. I didn't buy the S8 Ultra with the giant 14.6-inch screen. This one right here works out great. Love this tablet. I like the size on it. The Tab S6 was probably my most favorite of all time whenever it came to the Samsung tablets, and I wish that the Tab S8 had an AMOLED, but it doesn't. It actually has a really, really good LED screen, though. So, LCD screen. So, anyway, this has basically replaced that. I use this all the time. Nighttime, I want to watch videos, I want to play games, I want to just browse the internet and do whatever. One of my most favorite things that I really love about the Z Fold 4 is the multitasking and being able to switch back and forth between apps. One of the most thoughtful things they did was added this toolbar down on the bottom. Like, you can't see it because I'm not in an app right now, but let's say I open up Twitter, right? Well, when you open an app, you see these little icons that pop up down on the bottom, and then all you have to do is just tap it, and it switches over, and it goes to whatever that is. And then look, oh, switch right back to Twitter. Let me go to Chrome. So that's really nice all the time. And it's very quick, very fast, very responsive. I really like that. And as far as multitasking, you've got DeX, you've got wireless DeX, which of course I know some people really, really love. DeX to me still, I feel like I need a keyboard for. I don't really care for DeX if I don't have a keyboard. Of course, you can get a Bluetooth keyboard connected with this. I use DeX all the time when I use my Tab S8. And of course, the Samsung official accessories are nice. You've got it connected. The pins on the bottom automatically connects, turns DeX on as soon as you fire it up. So there is still a place, I think, for tablets. I mean, if I were going to get like true work done, do a lot of typing, document editing, if I was going to do some, bigger things like that outside of just the handheld experience, yes, there's some very good reasons for having a tablet. However, for like day-to-day stuff, for entertainment, for playing games, for multitasking, for having just a really cool experience. I mean, you've got this big phone that also you can just close it in half, and then you get the normal screen on the front. It is bigger than any of the previous iterations. It is very functional. I mean, it works well, especially for one-handed use. One other thing I want to show you, and a lot of people complain about the factory screen protector. I've used this thing heavily. Like heavily. I use it every day. This is the factory screen protector. Like, it's still in really good shape. There's no curling, no peeling around the edges. This thing has been to Spain. It's been to New York City. It's been to San Francisco. It's been to upper state New York for the Camp Pixel stuff. It's been all over the place. I've taken it on so many planes. I've taken it on, I think, a train. Yep, taking it on trains. I mean, I use this thing all the time. So I got to give Samsung some really big thumbs up when it comes to the factory screen protector on here. It's very, very good. So I know this is a little bit unorthodox when it comes to like a 6-month review, but I want to talk to you about like just my experience. Like, I've been using this. I use it all the time. And one of the biggest questions I get, especially now that this guy's out, the S23 Ultra, which one is the best? And I don't like the word best. I feel like a politician here, like deflecting and giving a different answer, or like an actor who can't talk about a movie. But in reality, they're two really different platforms. And yes, fundamentally, they are smartphones. They do the same thing, but some people really like the Note experience. And if I just had one phone, if I didn't have a YouTube channel, like, I have to do all these qualifiers because I'm not the normal use case. My thing is, the biggest thing that really helps me out with this, I do so much for my YouTube channel on the go with this. I've recorded videos with it and uploaded them straight from this phone. The S Pen that's on here and the big tapestry, the big screen is indispensable for me. And for the multitasking that I do and for managing my YouTube channel and my thumbnails, of course, you can make a thumbnail on here. Like you can do it on here. It works out fine. But I really don't, when you're making a thumbnail and you're trying to like make something nice and it's difficult working with this small or narrow screen, this experience right here, and just let me show you, it takes up the whole screen. It takes up like a really good portion here, whenever it decides it wants to load. So yeah, so I make my thumbnails on here, and it's really, really easy for me to be able to do that on here versus trying to do it on the S23 Ultra, which I think I have Canva installed on here. I probably don't. I know I have it on my S22 Ultra. Yeah, so here we go. When I'm trying to do my work and I'm trying to make these thumbnails, this is the experience you get. So let me pull up the same thumbnail, and this is what you get. So when you're trying to work on it, you get this, or you get this. And then if you turn it sideways, I mean, you can get that, but then you lose the margins, like you lose a lot of the stuff. So if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I would probably go with the S23 Ultra, but since I have to do a lot of this stuff and I don't like carrying like this, I go all over the place. I had a doctor's appointment yesterday. I'm at the medical center. I'm working on a thumbnail on my phone. I'm responding to comments and stuff like that. The only thing that really irks me about this is, for whatever reason, YouTube cannot get the app updated so where I can really access the community tab on the YouTube app. That's really kind of annoying. But from a day-to-day perspective, from what I need it for, if I had only to choose between one of these phones, it would still be the Z Fold 4. And I'm really looking forward to the Z Fold 5 once we get the Snapdragon 8 Plus Generation 2, presumably. It's going to be a really big game changer. It's been a huge game changer going from the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1 and the S22 Ultra to the S23 Ultra. So much more battery life. Really good stuff going on there. And it makes me excited for what we'll see this fall with the Fold 5. And I'm hoping the same thoughtful upgrades that I've talked about. Like, I really hope they add the S Pen support on the front. You don't necessarily need it, but whenever you've already got the S Pen pulled out, sometimes you just want to sit there and hold on to it, and I'd really like to be able to use it on the front screen. I hope that they add that, and I hope that we get some more premium camera stuff, especially for the price, and I hope they do lower the price too. I feel like they really need to get it down to about $15.99. Going on the 5th iteration, like, they can make it a little bit cheaper at this point. So, overall, 6 months later, I love it. I think it's a fantastic phone. I think it's the best one they've ever made. I use it all the time. It's an indispensable part of my daily routine, and it really does make my life easier. And that's something that we want from technology. Now, the S23 Ultra, great phone, fantastic phone. If I didn't have a YouTube channel, if I weren't doing this stuff all the time, I would probably gravitate more towards this because it's a really good phone. And I like the cameras, and I like some of the other stuff going on there. But yeah, the Z Fold 4, top notch, totally worth the money that I paid for it, and I like it. I think they did a good job. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Been a kind of a long conversation here, but wanted to talk about this 6 months. Like, it's just gone by like that. I mean, it feels like not too long from now we'll be looking at the Z Fold 5. Of course, the rumors will start coming out in a few months, but Samsung has really done a good job with the Z Fold 4. I think it's good. If you've got a Fold 3, I've said this in the past, I still maintain it. I don't think it's worth the upgrade. Wait for the Fold 5. We'll see what we get with that. But just the standby time, the battery life improvements, the performance improvements, there's going to be a huge difference in that this fall, especially if you're coming from the Z Fold 2 or the 3, even the 1, right? So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, please go down in the comment section. I will get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, if you found this helpful, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.